everyone. And I really respect the patience. I know after listening to so many speakers, it will be really information overload. But nevertheless, at the outset, let me share with you all some wisdom nuggets by Sara Blakely, CEO of Spanx. And here is what she says. There will always be wind in business, life, relationship, goals, vacations, etc. There'll always be wind. And like so many things in life, you cannot control everything. But what you can do is learn to respond to it. It's entirely a matter of choice. You may crib about the wind, you may hope and wish that it goes away, or you can adjust the sails. Life is full of challenges and obstacles. The measure of true success is never about perfection or victory, but how good are you at navigating the sails. And in life, it is very similar to what Sara Blakely has said in business as well, and hence the topic, navigating the new world of work, a coach perspective. If you look at this wisdom nugget, you'll realize that it has everything that is required to navigate the world of uncertainty, be it life, be it business, or any challenge for that matter. What are these? I just would like to pinpoint some of them. Accepting that detours will always be there. Acceptance helps us in building the right strategy. Number 2, there would be factors beyond our control. Knowing them is the key. Whether you're putting your focus on things that you can control or the things that you cannot control. When you take this first step with courage, you will find that the way would be revealed to you. And there are many more. So as a coach, my job is not to give you the answers, but to challenge your thinking, help you rise above your fears, limiting beliefs, thoughts, and patterns that you're stuck in. Because if I just give you the answers, that will be detrimental to your expertise, your creativity, and your resourcefulness. My job as a coach is to support you to rise above all of this and to use your creativity and resourcefulness, and that's what I do. That's my job as a coach. There is a brilliant book called The Straight Line Leadership. How many of you have read this book? Anyone? The Straight Line Leadership, Tools for Navigating the World with Velocity and Power. It is by Dusan Dugic. And here, Dusan talks about the geometry of success. It's a straight line from point A to point B. And he says that it's very simple, it's just like a straight line. You're here and you just have to get there. But what gets difficult is the circles that we created in our life and in business. What gets difficult is getting out of these circles, and that's what I invite you all to look into as business leaders, as HR professionals, as coaches. Where are you stuck in? What are the circles that you've created? And I think it's time to get out of that circle and see for your patterns and stuckness. Many a times, leaders carry forward things that might have lost relevance now in today's world. So it is important that you take a moment to really look at such patterns and conditionings that you're stuck in. But the irony is this, that we cannot look at our own blind spots, and that's why we need a coach. Let me give you some, examples. I mean, I actually took you back to help you understand what exactly are the correlation between cause and effect of any situation or an experience. Coming back to navigating the new world of work, getting to point B. The question is, as leaders, as pathfinders, what is the point B that you really want to get into? Because that would determine your strategies, that would determine what you intend to do for your organization or for your life for that matter. So a couple of questions that you can ask yourself or introspect is, do I want to continue whatever I'm doing, or do I want to create a new reality? Who do I want to be able to create what I envision, and what is the mental stance that I would like to take? And of course, most of the leadership success or any success depends on the stance that you take, the mental stance that you take. If, let's say, the stance that you take comes from something that is coming from intentionally and consciously created by you, then it will help you to navigate with more power and velocity. Or else that dysfunctional stance can keep you stuck in your track at all, like dead in your track. Now the question is, what are you committed to? Because just talking about, if, let's say, making profit, doing all sorts of, earning is the only goal, then I think, your strategies would be defined. You should be honest about it, and your strategies should be defined accordingly. Because just talking about empathy, compassion as a trend would be detrimental to your brand image as well as to the credibility of the organization. So you must be very clear as to what is it that you really, really want to, what's the point B that you really want to go to, and accordingly you should define your strategies. Today, whatever we are facing in this world is a result of a collective consciousness. It is because whatever we have chosen to at individual level and at collective level, we are witnessing the result of that. So it is very important that we are very clear as to where we would like to go to, the point B, what is it, and accordingly define our strategies. One thing I would like to make clear here, that earlier predictions, although we talk about data, I'm very much in favor of that, but the thing is, today predictions have become very vague because of the simple reason that people are evolving, their conscious levels are evolving to an extent that you cannot just write the path for them. The only thing that you can do is you can inspire them, you can guide them to make the right choices, and many of the speakers have touched upon that point. So looking at the time frame, I wouldn't dive deep into these, but I would say that coaching comes into play in this area, because then you can guide the people. Because a lot of the kind of exposure that is there, the kind of consciousness people are having, the kind of evolution that's happening, you cannot just tell them what to do, but you have to inspire them to make the right choices and make the better decisions for themselves, which will lead to organizational success at the same time. I would like to share two scenarios here as to how a leader's decision is important to pave the way. They can either empower an employee, or they can sabotage an employee's career. And this is from my own client's success story, I would say. But because of confidentiality, of course, I will twig here and there and then put it across in a way that that you cannot figure out who that client or the person is. So Bill Gates, he says that going forward, a leader would be one who would be able to truly empower people. And we often mistake empowerment. How? Like these two cases, I will tell you. Number one, let's say there is an employee who is not functioning well. You can see right away the dysfunction. Dr. Mahesh has just a while ago talked about the Johari window, and then he pointed out that blind spot area. As leaders, we can see so many things in our team members, but what we tend to do is we do not speak of the dysfunction because we are fearful of hurting the employee's feelings, or maybe we do not know even how to put it across to the employee, or it could be that we are also projecting so many things that is within us, our own fears, our own expectations. So if you do not point it to the employee, then the employee anyways is going to go down the route of underperformance because it's a blind spot and he's not aware of it. But a truly empowering leader would choose to take that stance, and then he'll be committed to the bigness of the person and would tell the person that this is what he's not performing well and this is where the dysfunction lies, irrespective of the fact that he is fearful of. So it's time that we rise above our fears, our limiting patterns, our conditionings and everything. This was the first case. The second case is, it happened during COVID. A leader, he was known for being a taskmaster. He was known for being really, really good at influencing people to make choices, growth choices, and stuff like that. So there was this subordinate who, was very high-performing subordinate, and he was had a good rapport with his team members and everyone around. So this leader challenged this subordinate to take up a new role, which was there prior to COVID, that this is the role that you need to take, and he motivated him, he inspired him to do that. So subordinate trusted the leader and he took up that role. Yeah, he took up the role, and then what happened is, he 2 months into the pandemic hit, 2 months into the role, the pandemic hit, and he was the leader came and told him that, hey, this position we have to close because it is not happening. We are kind of winding off many positions, and so you have to leave. Of course, the subordinate was very, very sad, and he kept asking the leader as to why this happened. But anyways, long story short, he was asked to do a voluntary resignation, and it was not shown as a layoff to maintain the morale of the team. And finally, when I happened to coach this leader, he said that he was very fearful of the consequences that the COVID would bring in, and that's why he had to take up this stance. And so I leave it with you to think about, as leaders, is it just enough to just lead an organization, or we have to bring in so many things which is required? And so leaving you with the last thought is this: according to me, the game changer would be your choice and your unconditional intention to elicit the best in people, and your courage to step into the shadows. And if you cannot do that, I think no matter you attend so many events like this, it's not going to bring any difference to anybody's life, including yours. And I think it's high time that you look within rather than outside, and let's bring the change from us. That's all. Thank you.